My name's Ben Parker. I'm one of the two creative directors here at Made Thought.
I'm Paul Austin. I'm the other creative director. Myself and Ben set Made Thought up in 2000 after studying together at Ravensbourne. Graduated and left and went to work at North Design for 4 years. Left North to set up Made Thought, and it's been a very busy 15 years. Obviously, myself and Ben have known each other for some time, and over the time we sort of realised now that actually our personalities are very different. We're completely different people, but our ethos is the same. So what does that mean? It means that actually our talents somewhat complement each other when we're attacking a design challenge. So I think if we were sort of to put it into two words, I think I tend to take a more sort of visionary role where I will look further into the distance maybe in order to sort of seek out where we might go with things. But what Ben's amazing at is taking a more obsessive role. So with those two talents together, I think it makes a fairly powerful team.
And I think what I was in admiration of Paul about is that he is a very accomplished and skilled graphic designer, but he actually, it's not the be all and end all, and actually he's not particularly interested in it per se. It is the broader picture and perspective in which we approach projects and how we add value to a client that he's always interested in, and you couple that with the craft and the attention to detail in order to bring those stories or ideas to life, and I think that becomes very powerful.
So, but I don't think our ethos has ever changed. I think we set up with a certain ambition to think that actually we can do beautiful work for or with inspiring people with subject matters that we're excited by. That view probably started quite naively, but over the 15 years, it's matured into a way that actually we really understand that we can do what I would say is very creative work for real people, for real challenges, for commercial requirements, rather than following a more cultural route where actually you can kind of get away with what you want to get away with, and actually that's kind of easy. Trying to apply some level of kind of doing something a bit different or pushing a boundary within a more conventional space is actually, I think, more rewarding, and I think the people that we do it for are more rewarded by it as well. So
once you start working with them in that way, that actually you can apply creativity into that business that makes a tangible difference, actually it becomes very powerful, because a lot of our projects are long-term projects. Some of the clients we work with for over 10 years. Everyone starts to think in the same way. It actually means that you slowly shift the way that the client thinks about marketing and their communications.
And I think that's what's great about if I look at our kind of work as an overview, it's very diverse in the type of work we do for different types of people, from fashion and beauty through to property, through to sport and and hospitality, but actually the common denominator is that everyone there that we're doing it for has as much creative ambition as we have. And actually, that is, I think,
that's the fuel, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the
take John at GS Smith. The fact that the GS Smith work has been so exciting to create is because actually he gets as excited by it, and there's nothing more kind of fueling than having that two-way kind of conversation.
I think probably it has to always be there. You have to feel the tempo of that client. And we were asked recently on Design Mammy, how do you keep from a new prospective client, how do you keep the creativity and the energy up when you've worked with the client for 10 years? And I think it's almost because we understand what that brand needs to be, and we sort of work very closely to that mindset and that brief. And there is always more opportunity to unearth new things within that project. So when we certainly present a project from the beginning, we know that it has inbuilt flexibility to move in different directions.
And I think for me it's a slightly shorter answer, in the fact that I think actually I just believe in that gut reaction, and I think I actually have conducted my entire design career based on gut reaction, which is pretty instant. And I think pretty much every time you sit with that first meeting and straight away I'm like, yeah, we can do good stuff for these people. Or the opposite, this is going to be hard work. because not because the subject matter's not right or the brief isn't right, the opportunity's not there. It's actually thinking, I'm just not sure we're going to be able. It's a relationship, so it's got to work, and I very much trust in that initial kind of love at first sight kind of thing, Well, actually, without sounding arrogant, we've never done any new business activity in 15 years. Every project that Maythought have had has come off of referral or recommendation, or repeat work, so longer term relationships. That's not been an intention. It's just the way it's happened, And I think that's actually, people say, "Oh God, you're so lucky. You've never had to do new business." But actually, I think we've somewhat made our own luck by working really hard, doing work to the best standard we can, and it's recognised.
Yeah, I mean, we can intellectualise. We could attempt to intellectualise what it is we do. I think we remain interested in the work that comes our way and passionate about it, and I think that's all we kind of need just to do a relatively good job.
I'm still excited by it, and I think people take a hell of a lot away from that. When me and Ben present work, or if we're in a meeting for the first time with someone, they go, "Carl, really feel the energy and the passion from you two." It's great.
A client in Germany, in Berlin, who produced amazing, essentially music software
and hardware.
A brilliant client. Their pitch process was simply to understand our compatibility, and that shows how important the relationship is between. So they liked the way that we spoke about the project and the way we spoke about our approach to design, and that actually essentially won us the job. Whereas we know there were other agencies there that pretty much designed a full roster of collateral, and yet
well, they answered the brief before they even knew them, and actually I think that did them a misservice, because we went there because they'd asked us not to prepare any creative, and apparently we were the only ones that did that. Everyone else thought they'd be clever and go with a load of design, and we were like, well, I don't get that. I thought this was a chemistry thing, and actually, their thinking, which I thought was actually really quite sort of informed, was, look, all the people we're seeing, we know are good graphic designers. We know they're all capable of doing this project to a very high standard. What we need to know is, who are we going to prefer working with the best?
The communication that you have between you is everything, and then you're just to some extent visually articulating that kind of that outcome of that thinking. So I think it's inherent in all client relationships. It's just, I think we're very aware of it being such an important factor.
I actually think it's the opposite. I actually think it's made us. I think that one meeting was quite pivotal for us, actually, because it's made us understand the importance of it. And actually, without again sounding arrogant, I think we're very tuned into not just a client, not just being a revenue stream, or actually, okay, are these someone that you kind of want to get into bed with? Because unless we can do good work with them, metaphorically speaking, unless we can do good work with them, then it doesn't matter really what you're being paid or what the job is. If it's unpleasant, it's unpleasant, and no one likes that. So it's made us question other, certain clients, thinking, is this working? Not financially, not creatively, but actually, is it working kind of from a personality perspective?